Hello guys, welcome to Expertiser Academy. Today we're going to see Pinnacle Studio 20, and this is a basic introduction. So, so in this lesson, I'm just going to quickly run through creating a project and then doing a couple of little things and then go walking over some of the tools. So it'll be just like an overview of the product. So we have used a lot of softwares. We still have a lot of softwares, and the reason we prefer Pinnacle on some of the machines is like Camtasia and Premiere, Adobe Premiere. Some of these softwares, if you look at it, the licenses are pretty expensive. Whereas Pinnacle, I think it's cheapest in the line. It's around like some, if you look at it, they always give these sort of discounts. So we got the 20 version, if I'm not wrong, probably around $50 or something. And it's a perpetual license. So that means, it's not necessary you need to update it and things like that because we've been running it for some time and we haven't had any issues. We just have this prompt asking us to upgrade if we need it to the latest version. So this is a lot cheaper. And so let's get into the software. So this is very good for entry-level video editing. So if you're doing some YouTube videos and things like that, and if you want to do editing, split screens, cam captures, and if you got your GoPros, you want to edit your GoPro videos and things like that, it's a lot of these things you can get this working, so which is nice. All right, so to get started, we go to File and then click on New and then click on New Movie. And so it just opens a movie, and then some of the files which you already have stacked in from the recent folder. I'm just going to get rid of these ones so we can start it from scratch. So you can just select them and then press the delete key and then get rid of them. Okay, so you can also save this particular movie after you create something. You can save this one at any time you want it. All right, so looking at the interface, so this is pretty much the files that you have added, and this is like your file explorer. All the files that you have added, you can drag and drop into your tracks and things like that. So this is basically the navigation window which shows all the files. And then on the right side, whichever the file you have selected, whichever the tracks you have selected, you can see it loading a preview up here, and then you can see the timelines, and you can play, stop, and do a lot of little trimmings and things like that you can do it here. So then you got a little status bar here. In the status bar, you got few bunch of tools here. So the first one is so there is settings here, and then so the first one is displaying the equalizer for each of those tracks. So I can select this one and put as a turn on equalizer so that you can increase your volume of your audios as well, audio tracks that you are recording. And then so the next one is music. You can add a music. It comes with a little library of songs. So yeah, my suggestion would be is like if you get some sources where they generally give you a whole bunch of tracks for a certain amount of monthly fees and things like that, you can get a whole lot of songs that you can add. And so then this one is annotations and text and those sort of little things. It opens a nice little editor so we can drag it and change the animation of it, make it bold and things like that. So this is nice and easy to use as well. It doesn't give you too much things, but it is good for the cost that you're paying for this license for the software. And then we got the voiceover. So the voiceover, what it does is it opens up a little pop-up, and then you can start recording voice on it. And it also has an option where it actually mutes the other tracks as well. So sometimes what you can actually do is you can lower the volume on one of the tracks. Let's say if you're doing multiple languages, say let's say English from another language, let's say Tamil. So you can keep the volume of English pretty low, and then so you can listen to it, and then you can record your new voice, so you know what you're talking about. So if you don't want it, you can just mute it all over, and then you can click on record, and then records it, and you can see what you're recording against the preview as well. This plays a preview on the video track. So which is really cool software. So and once it's done, it automatically adds a voiceover. So it's not necessary you record it for the entire track. So you can select a particular section, and then you can have, let's say if you're recording a video, and then on a particular section you want to have a different voice or different content, and same language or even a different language, doesn't matter. So you can select that portion and you can do a voiceover on that section as well. So which is really cool. And then another one is so this one is your camera input. So if you have multiple camera inputs, multiple cameras connected, you can get to see the inputs here. And audio, so if you got multiple mics and things like that, you can get all the feeds from here and you can import it into your tracks, which is nice. And then another one is a nice, really cool feature called split screens. So this lets you create different screens. Let's say I want one screen here, another screen here. That means you can put a little image or video in here, another one here, and then let's say if you are a guy who's presenting it, you can put your video of you talking about it right up here while you're actually demonstrating something. So that sort of stuff which you can use it, which is really cool. So I'm just gonna get rid of this one. And so then you can obviously these ones to get rid of this one, and then snapshots, you can take snapshots of what you're doing and then add it to the tracks as well. And then coming to the track itself, so you can create multiple tracks. Use this button to create multiple tracks. You can turn on and off. That means if you just click on this button, it just turns on the visual of all of the tracks. Same with the audio as well. And then individual tracks, you can turn on audio or video. You can do that. And you can increase audio volume. So if you want to increase, if your voice is too low, you can come and increase it here, so that you can do it. And so apart from that, you can see the overall audio that you can increase, that you can also see it. So this is your timeline. You can increase your timeline or decrease your timeline. So this basically gives you more editing power. So let's say if you want to go in depth and edit something very minute, you can increase the time, and then so you can see them in a bit wider range, so you can do some minor edits. And if you want to do like gross edits or something which is like more coarse edits, so you can actually shrink it and then you can do more coarse edits, so which is also possible. And so once you have done it, and then you can import, export the content of what you have done. So let's do a quick simple one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something very simple. So let's drag and drop a video. Okay, this is one which I've recorded for Civil 3D. So I'm just going to drag and drop into it, and then I'm going to drag, I need an intro animation. So let's get an intro animation. So I got this Expertiser Academy's intro animation done. So it's a separate animation file as such. So I'm just going to use that. So let me use 180p, because if you're going to upload it to YouTube, you should go for minimum 720p to 180p. Sorry, 1080p. So the 1080p is sort of like a base standard these days, because then you will get an HD symbol right next to your YouTube videos, which is really cool. So 720p is not that hard, and even the files are not big. So 1080p is really cool, because even the videos get really having a very good clarity as well if you record in 1080p, and YouTube gives you that HD symbol right next to your videos. And they obviously have the scaled down version within YouTube itself, so you don't have to upload multiple versions, let's say 1080p, 720p, 440 or whatever it is. So you can just upload 1080p and rest of the work is all being taken care by YouTube. Okay, so I'm just gonna drag and drop the 1080p version of this intro animation. So let me play this video. So this is, if I click on it, you get to see it, and then you can select it and you can play this one as well. Now if you want this to be added, you can drag and drop into one of the tracks, and so you can increase the timeline so you can see it in a bit wider scale. And then same, you can drag and drop into another track. Don't drag and drop into this one, because sometimes in this one, you don't want to listen to the animations and things like that, or you want to have separate controls of what you want to do in here. So that is why you can keep them both in separate tracks, no harm in keeping them. And then little things that you can do is like, let's say if I play this one right up here, so it plays, snaps, and then it starts a video. So to make it a bit more nicer, you can add a little transitions. And these things, you can right click and then it gives you more options, like say what sort of transitions you want to have, dissolve and things like that, so that you can do it as well. So now let's say if I play this one, as soon as the animation over, it dims out, dims in, and So that sort of little things you can do it. And so once you have done this one, you can also add an um, animation at the end as well. So that way you can also add the transition again here. So now if you go on, once you finish your video, we'll say thank you, and then it plays animation again. Okay, so whatever you want to achieve with that. So that is a sort of basics to get started with Pinnacle. And so once you're pretty much done with this one, go to File, and you got an option to export it, And this window might be a bit confusing in the beginning. So all you need is, if you need a file, you can select the file, and then you can choose the type of file. So if you got MPEG-4, and if you want to go into choose a different file, like say AVI, DivX, and whatever the format you want, you can choose it. And so then you can choose a preset. So if you're going to go for 1080p, you can choose it, or a different format, you can choose whichever the format you like. You can click on advanced, it gives you more options pretty much. And then it shows you all the details of what you're gonna get as an output. And then you can choose a destination where it's gonna save this file into, and then start exporting, and then that's it. And then you got an option to auto naming, so that means it automatically names, just like a sequential thing. You just keep saving it to the folder, it just it names it with a sequential name. And there are other options you can do: burn it to a disk. So if you got a Blu-ray writer or a DVD writer and those kind of stuff, you can just directly burn it. So my suggestion would be always save as a file. So even if something drops out or things like that, you don't have to waste time doing the export process again, because the export process will take several minutes depending on the length of your video file and the quality of it. So let's say if it's taking most of the time, my videos are like around 10 minutes and stuff, so it takes around 4 or 5 minutes for me to create a final output. So if yours is, let's say, running hours and hours of video, then it will take plenty of time to create an export. So if you're burning into a disk, and let's say if the disk ran out of space, it's going to stop the process. So then you have to start the process all over again. So my suggestion is like, say, save it as a file, and then you can burn it if you want it. And then cloud version, so you can select it, you can choose a type of cloud you're going to upload into, and then you can publish it. My suggestion would be, again, is go with the file, and then you can upload it, so that you can set the keywords in the YouTube and the playlist. A lot of those things you can set it up. So you can burn into a device as well. So if you connect another external device or media servers, you can just put them into there. And yeah, pretty easy, guys. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel.